Apparently I got mentioned in Cavernacle's new video. The Destiny subreddit absolutely hates me. I'm very happy the Cavernacle never took off. Has brainworms. Chubby Rizless twat. I don't give two shits about this pudgy neck beard. Oh no. Yeah, apparently I'm at the end. Let's see. Let's see. I almost started watching this in the morning, but I was like, nah, let's just chill. Let's watch it on stream, okay? Let's actually be productive. What is this? Need to organize my fucking windows. Ugh. Come on! Okay. Let's go. I think you're in the other one too. I mean, what other one? The Willie Mack one? Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, let's see what he said here, because I know I reacted to his video, but I don't know if he knows that. Let's see.
I do like that term, debate perverts, or debate pervertry, or whatever someone sent me today, which I found really funny, because it just sums up so much. I'm actually going to try and find the tweet, actually, because I feel like this person deserves a little shout out. So, I posted this. I just posted my video. People have seen this. If you watch the Silent stream, you might have seen it as well. And then this guy says, "Talk to Lonerbox."
That's me.
I say no, like question mark. Like, why are we gonna do that? Like, we don't like. I don't understand. Like, why? Why we don't know each other? We don't have beef. I didn't talk about him in the stream. And I said no. He calls me pussy, and I say, "I'm sure your life is great, dude. If this is how you spend your time, trying to get some random YouTubers to talk to one another." And he said, "Took maybe 5 seconds to send you the tweet. You spent who knows how long making a disgusting video full of inaccuracies while touting you are learned, I think, or you learned on the issue.
Learned, how learned you are. Yeah.
Despite over and over making insane, unfounded claims about Hamas carrying water for their actions, which again I didn't do." And someone say, "You and the Wikipedia streamers you follow aren't authorities on this topic." But here's what the problem is: he has not offered any rebuttal to what I'm saying. Like, he's not talking about what I'm wrong about. He's just saying I'm wrong, and if only you talk to Lonerbox, then maybe he could prove you wrong because I can't do it. And
true.
Someone said, like, he thinks he's Kevin Feige trying to set up, yeah. This made me fucking laugh. Reply guy thinks he's Kevin Feige. He's trying to set up crossovers. And then I said, I've been getting a lot of these comments telling me to talk to Destiny, which I find pretty fascinating. Like, Destiny and Lonerbox haven't said anything about me. I haven't even spoke about them. And I said, but because I called out liberal takes from Palestine, their fans want me to talk to them because while they can't actually make an argument against me, they are hoping their fave creator maybe can. It's the weirdest parasocial shit you will see. So, and then I really like this comment. Debate pervertry is at its best. They just want to see a boxing match. They don't give a shit.
Does this guy just make content like off the cuff going through his Twitter? And I should do this more often for the main channel as well. God, why don't I do that? That sounds so smooth. It's not offer any takes or nothing. Debate Fedain. I mean, I did react to his video. Maybe I could summarize it here because, yeah, I think the react was I think I was being a bit too mean. I think I was being a bit too mean in the react to someone who's never really spoken to me or about me. Maybe I could just summarize my issues that I had with his video, shall I? For one, he kept on saying, what was like just one example? Because I think there were about 4 or 5 of these throughout the whole video. Let me find it. This was it, right? He was reacting to this tweet, which is apparently someone with no understanding or whatever. Hamas doesn't give a fuck about Palestinian people. They use their people as human shields. If you claim to be for Palestinian people, you should be against those that use them as human shields and escalate shit to the point peace becomes basically impossible. Again, like he was talking about, I think he was describing this take as Islamophobic or something, like, or racist, even though it's Hamas, right? It's an organization, and again, people always act as if Hamas's behavior is just this authentic expression of Palestinian frustration. It's not that, though. Hamas were elected mostly on an anti-corruption platform. the people who voted for them didn't necessarily all approve of Hamas's actions towards Israel. I think 3/4 of them wanted, when they wanted the unity government, said that they wanted Hamas to change their position on Israel. So it was anti-corruption was that their big climb up, but also just because I think there was something he said about this with the human shields for one. Let me find the transcript. I think he just dismissed the human shields thing flat out, but he did it in a really strange way. Yeah, here.
But then if you're just some rando guy who grows up there, you're not even going to think it's bad. And then your fucking brother, dad, or your whole family gets killed by an IDF bomb. Are you really going to start going around thinking, oh my God, Hamas are holding me hostage? And
like there, for example, he was being quite coy about just what people in Gaza think about Hamas. We saw the polling before October 7th. People in Gaza had quite a lot of not nice things to say about Hamas. Like, I think there was even that one poll that was suggesting that people were more interested in bringing the PA back to Gaza. Definitely most of them wanted the ceasefire to stay in. There was this one, which was very, very soon before October 7th. I think this was probably the most recent one before October 7th. How much trust do you have in the Hamas-led government? None at all, and then not a lot were the two most popular answers for all ages above 18. It's like, and not to mention the amount of strikes and protests there had been against Hamas that they'd had to clamp down on by torturing their opponents and all that shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he wasn't really willing to bring that up. But yeah, the human shield, sorry.
human shields thing is absolute bullshit.
Sorry, we'll go back.
My God, Hamas are holding me hostage. And the human shields thing is absolute bullshit. Israel attacks them no matter what. It doesn't matter. They're bombing hospitals, schools. They're not looking for Hamas. They want to, and that's what I mean. They fundamentally
Like, this is
don't understand it. These liberals, they think this is a war. It's not.
These liberals, yeah. It's again, how can you say that sentence as someone, because he does spend a bit of this video talking about how clever he is and how much he knows about the conflict because he studied like Middle East in university or something. But again, I don't know how you could take that position not knowing about the schools and the hospitals. I don't know how you could do that. I'm not misunderstanding what he's saying here, right? Like,
what? It doesn't matter. They're bombing hospitals,
sorry,
killed by an IDF bomb. And the human shields thing is absolute bullshit. Israel attacks them no matter what. It doesn't matter. They're bombing hospitals, schools. They're not
like Israel attacks them. They're not like
looking for Hamas.
They're not looking for Hamas. They're bombing hospitals and schools. But does he not know the whole case that people make about the human shields thing is that Hamas uses schools and other civilian infrastructure for their operations? And that's what people mean by human shields. Not human shields in like the narrow legal sense, but just as a way of explaining what they do to hide their activity. This is from The Guardian. Anecdotal and other evidence does suggest that Hamas and other factions have used civilian objects, including hospitals and schools. Guardian journalists in 2014 encountered armed men inside one hospital, and sightings of senior Hamas leaders inside the Shifa hospital have been documented. During the 2014 conflict, the UN reported weapons were found inside 2 UN schools, and there have been numerous reports of Palestinian armed factions in Gaza firing rockets and other weapons from close to protected civilian locations. It is also clear that Hamas has operated from residential buildings. Remember, we saw that from it was the IDF statement from the International Red Cross. The IDF delivered their report to the International Cross and to the Red Cross. They said a bunch of claims about Hamas, one of which was that Hamas so the IDF, they presented a bunch of claims to the ICRC. The ICRC pushed back against some of it. One claim that they didn't push back upon was the fact that Hamas were commandeering homes, like individuals, people's houses, to use as temporary bases. So that's why that's why schools get hit. That's why hospitals get hit. It's not because, as far as we know, I don't think there is proof that they have a policy of just target a hospital, even when there's nothing going on in it, like apart from people just doing healthcare. Like, we don't have that. established. So yeah, it's just weird that he said that. But there were quite a few of those in this video. So I just thought, I don't know, maybe it'd be, if he ever wanted to, it would be an interesting thing to talk about, you know? Many such cases. I think Iran as well. He was what was this?
The Palestinians for what's happening, basically. And this notion that Hamas are some sort of like Islamic jihadi mafia that won't let Palestinians be free is insane to me. Hamas is the government of not Palestine, is the government of Gaza. Like it or not, the same way, you know, Iran is ruled by the Ayatollah. If you don't like that, then that's fine. But that's just the reality. Hamas runs the territory. And they
Again, Hamas also has had a history of violently suppressing protesters. They torture their political opponents. They have no one would stop them from holding their own elections in Gaza because they're clearly disconnected from the PA. They could allow opposition parties to stand up to them, but they don't. Yeah.
were elected to run the territory, so acting like Palestinians are victims of Hamas the same way.
They also were not elected to run the territory. They won an election. They didn't win like a full majority. So the people of Palestine who voted for Hamas and Fatah, like 44-42, they wanted a national unity government. The national unity government was probably never going to happen because one side wanted to negotiate with Israel and make peace. The other side didn't. Hamas didn't. And with that impasse, it was only logical that they were going to fight. And that was when Hamas launched their preemptive attack on Fatah in Gaza, and then they took it over. They threw they threw Fatah members off of buildings, and then they took over Gaza, and that's been the case since. But they've never, again, they're a de facto government of Gaza. Yeah, they could hold elections. No one would stop them. But since 2006, that's been their prerogative. They've wanted to hold elections across all of Palestine, which the PA doesn't want to do because they're afraid they'll lose. But I don't know, like Hamas is, yeah, they're kind of bad to their population. Okay, like
they are victims of Israel is literally Israeli propaganda, and you're basically implying with this take, if Israel could simply not kill civilians but just kill Hamas fighters, the Palestinians would be grateful. They wouldn't be, because it fundamentally doesn't understand the situation. And this is another take I keep seeing, and I think it's both motivated by Palestinians have to do this or they'll be labelled terrorists if they try and bring nuance to it, and liberals are just fucking idiots who don't understand that most people fighting right now, the Israelis, have grown up in Gaza under Hamas control. They don't see Hamas as evil Nazi ISIS. They just see them as the fucking government, and if you want to fight the Israelis, you join them. It's as simple as that. It's like the Ukrainians, right? If you're there's Ukrainian anarchists fighting. They don't like the Ukrainian state, but they join the Ukrainian state to fight Russia. They join the Ukrainian state's army to fight Russia.
It's also, if you're willing to accept that Hamas's attacks on Israel don't really help people in Gaza. If someone wants to tell me why they do, they can present that to me. But if we assume they don't, then it gives Israel carte blanche in the international community to blockade the Strip. And it gives Egypt carte blanche to blockade the Strip as well. And to close the border crossings so that you have those like really horrible stories about farmers trying to bring their produce across the border. But because there was an attack there 3 weeks ago and the border's still closed for security reasons, they can't do it. So the farmers have to dump their produce into the field. Like, And it's not like Gaza doesn't get a lot of aid. They do get a lot of aid. It's just that somehow it seems to be that Hamas gets a lot of resources to make weapons and to make rockets, but that's not really much else going on there. Lots of economic problems, lots of unemployment, and some of that you can absolutely hold to Israel because of the blockade and all that. But again, it's like we know that materials that can be used to make weapons in Gaza will be used to make weapons. So, and Hamas brags about that. Yeah.
So you understand that, but you don't understand why a 17-year-old, 16-year-old kid who's grown up in an open-air prison, no electricity hardly, like barely any access to clean water and food, cannot fucking leave. Why would they join Hamas? And acting like Hamas hold these people hostage is just insane racism.
This is true. It's absolutely understandable why people join Hamas, because if you're a kid growing up in Gaza, you're probably going to get PTSD. You're probably going to know other kids who die. That all makes sense, but that still doesn't. That's not mutually exclusive with Hamas not being good for the people who live in Gaza. It's also not mutually exclusive with Hamas viciously and violently suppressing their opposition. So
shows you don't understand anything about the conflict. Like, you literally don't know fucking anything.
damn,
You're an idiot. You're just a
damn.
fucking racist. You think Hamas are ISIS, and that's why Israel say it, because they know.
Wait, where's the
idiots
Iran
like
part?
this who believe this shit.
yeah.
They know they think Hamas are ISIS. And here's another thing as well. People saying Hamas are Iran proxies also don't fucking understand the politics of the Middle East, because historically Hamas have not been backed by Iran. That's Hezbollah. They're not the same thing.
See, this is not true. Again, this is, this is why I was being so mean to him, because he keeps on talking about how these liberals, they don't know anything, they're not educated, they're just racist, but then saying Hamas have not historically been backed by Iran. Yes, they have. Since at least the 90s. They had a brief pause over Syria. I think Iran withdrew their funding from Hamas for like 3 years, I think, between 2011 and 2014, because Hamas wasn't backing the Assad government. I think that's what, or was it the opposite, the other way around? Yeah, they didn't back Assad, yeah. And Tehran was not happy about that, so they cut Hamas's funding. But I mean, by 2014, they were back on course again. Hamas and Iran rebuilt ties 3 years after falling out over Syria. Rebuild, as in, I don't even know if this connection was ever formally dissolved. It was just that Iran froze funding. And again, the people of Gaza suffered for that, because again, Iran doesn't give a fuck about Palestinians. And they only care about them insofar as they can use them as a bludgeon against Israel. A pawn, I would say, actually, rather. Yeah, this is the 1st of January, 9th of January, 2014. So I guess he's going to say they get funding from Iran, they get funding from Qatar, they get funding from, I think Islamic Jihad gets support from Russia. I don't know if Hamas does, but
Hezbollah was created by Iran. Hamas has traditionally been funded by Qatar and also by the Saudis and by covertly all like Sunni nations, because they're a Sunni group. Hezbollah is a Shiite political group. Hamas is Sunni. They're literally completely different sects of Islam, and they were backed by rival powers. Iran backs Hezbollah. It's completely.
There's no way you would have this analysis while saying that you know a lot about the region. We all, like, it's been the oldest story in the book that Sunnis and Shias don't necessarily, like, they will work together, especially when the common enemy is Israel. That's just so, yeah, there's nothing mysterious about that. Yeah, of course, because again, Hamas and Hezbollah, that's why they applaud each other's actions, right? That's why the Hezbollah attacks on Israel and the led up to the withdrawal from South Lebanon in 2000 was so inspiring to Hamas, and why they was celebrated by Hamas is because they both hate Israel. That's why Iran, a Shia country, supports Hamas, a Sunni organization, because the enemy of their enemy is their friend. It's just, so yeah, that's just a few examples of the issues I had with this video, and that's why I reacted to it. But I don't know. Cavernacle, yeah, I think you said we don't have beef. That's true. If you want to talk about this, like, sure. I'd be interested to know why you have these conclusions. You know, civil discourse with a certified debate horsefucker. I don't know. Okay, yeah. How does this end?
About the actual issues, which I completely agree with. So I found this all like really funny, but it's also just like insane. It's like, if I made a video that Destiny and Lonerbox are wrong and here's why, and then their fans were like, you should talk to them on stream about this, then that's one thing. Making clipping a live stream where I talk about 2 tweets which have nothing to do with any of them, and then telling me that I got to talk to these people. Again, what I said, they hope that the person that who's their fave can debunk me and beat me in a debate or something.
Smash.
Rather than they do it, because they don't actually know what they're talking about. They just think I give them bad vibes. That is actually it on YouTube. If you give someone bad vibes, they declare you like tanky, like fascist or something.
Well, I know how that feels. Okay.
How people don't understand that if Israel don't end tomorrow, and tried to kill like in one day like 30,000 Palestinians or kill them all, then that would literally kick off World War III. And they know that. They know that it would literally be like Syria, Iran, probably invading straight away. It would literally kick off a war.
Syria? I don't know if the IDF are sitting there being like, oh no, bro, we need to consider the threat of Syrian invasion. Bro, Syria. We need to consider the Houthi factor next. The coming in from Yemen. They're gonna march across they're gonna march across Saudi. Syria. Syria.